Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from Homestory Cup 19 Grand Finals. It is the World Champion, the WCS Champion 4, or is it 5 now? I'm not sure. Too many times over. The Finnish Zerg player, Serral, up against the Chessmaster Terran TY. But we're not just doing a normal, boring commentary cast with professional observers and casters. I'm sure they already covered that on the casting couch, if you would, of Homestory Cup by Take TV, putting on so many of them and always so fun. And most importantly, the greatest memes in StarCraft. That cannot be underestimated. Also some great games. But I wasn't able to watch the matches live because I'm a vampire, as well as I wanted to break this down for everyone. We're going to be doing something a little different. In this best of 7, I'm going to be trading off the first-person perspective of both Serral and TY. We're going to start with Serral because it's Serral, but I'm going to do my best to help you guys keep up, if I can keep up with these players, because I think it's so much different and potentially educational, and very educational, to watch from this perspective as opposed to just like your normal observer perspective, because then you get a lot more of a feel of the vertigo, as well as just the speed and how little time that these players have to react to certain things. And Serral, so there is a statistic called screens per minute, which is tracked by things like SC2 replay stats. That's how many times in an average minute you move your screen more than 50%. Like how often do you change to a different screen? You're looking at something else. I'm usually at around 20 to 30. So every 2 to 3 seconds. That's pretty quick. A lot of pro players are 40 to 50. Serral is one of the only players who's over 60. As he's dealing with this proxy rex. That means, on average, he moves his screen more than one time every second. So yeah, that's more than some players' APM. Already 2 drones going down. So, we do see the supplies on the top of the production tab. That's for us. Of course, Serral doesn't see that. But he knows this is a proxy based on the timing of the Reaper. He's trying to dodge things out. He's not sure how committed it is, but the Reaper will give away that there's not really going to be a big Marine push coming behind it. We're really focusing on the creep early on to be able to move the Queens in between the bases. You still don't know at this stage whether or not it's going to be heavy on the Reapers. The first Overlord going to be spotted. That's very important. So that Overlord tells Serral, that Marine tells Serral that there's not going to be a big Reaper follow-up. There's not anything else going on. Of course, the Orbital is a big part of that as well. So do you go for a big Ling attack? I guess so. 10 Lings on the way. He's just going to double down. Speed just began. What TY is more than likely expecting. And now, just a quick note on TY. TY probably the smartest player, alongside his opponent, in StarCraft, especially of Terrans. Even though he's not as accomplished as Maru, they had an incredible GSL Finals last year, he's always a step ahead. He's one of the players who will have that ranged Liberator tech or Ghost tech or upgrades or bases way before even Terrans at his level will. In fact, sometimes he's so far ahead of himself, he just gets like 100 SCVs and doesn't have a big enough army, and that is a real sticking point. I don't think we'll see that here, because right now, Serral has snuck a bunch of Zerglings out of the area where a Reaper would more than likely be. He's still hiding them. There's no vision of these Zerglings. The barracks is obviously proxied, that's what he's using vision of. But Serral has determined exactly where there's going to be vision and where there's not. And you see his Lings on the minimap already moving that way. He's got multiple control groups of them. He's really trying... Okay, well, at this point, he's saying, okay, well, you're gonna see it, but can you stop it? The Banelings are coming in. Zergling's looking for an opportunity. Maybe gonna be able to go up the ramp if the wall is not up. Nice block by TY. But the Banelings have still not been spotted out. There's a lot of opportunity to get damage done here. He's actually just going to go up the ramp. They're obviously spotted now by TY. The depot does go up. Will he go for both depots? No, he actually just lets them in. What? Those are not who you want inside your humble home, TY. Does not kill the SCVs. Okay, so this... Wait a second. Well, Serral tried to Bane Bust. TY Okay, well, we gotta switch sides. Let's go back. That... He actually let them in to minimize the chances that... So at what point does TY realize? How much time does he have to react to this? And we will be doing a little bit of this. Because once again, this is not your normal... The eyes of a pro gamer, if you will. Or misread the title. He still doesn't realize, and then... There's still no specific preparations for banelings being made at this point. The lack of drones. That Reaper saw a severe lack of drones. There should be more than 4 drones in that base. Oh, and he lowers it. And then... Oh, the Reaper... I think the Reaper actually got out of the base. He raises it again. He's making this into a tower defense game. I'm not sure how much of that... Like, he lowered the depot after it had taken some damage, so it negated some banelings, but it made the rest useless. Or potentially useless. I think Serral may have been better off just outright using those banelings to destroy the depot, even if it was lowered. But it kind of feels like Serral was taken off guard in game. So... TY with a masterful defense, despite having only a few seconds. And Serral getting a little tilted, possibly. I won't say tilted, but I'll say definitely not how he wanted it to go. Is Serral really that far behind after that? I just closed the replay, but I can almost guarantee you that at that point, let's think about the position. There are Hellions and nothing to counter them. There's a starport done with a tech lab, and there are more workers. Serral is only going to have Queens, Lings, and Banes against someone who could, for all he knows, go battlecruiser. So... Oh, yeah. So Serral does start up a game because he came through the winner's bracket. Now, in the winner's bracket finals, he did have a tough opponent. TY. So, who he beat. Just to make that comment. So this actually ties it up 1-1. I actually forgot about that. TY did battle his way through the loser's bracket, though, in order to get another chance. This is kind of your standard for best of sevens in this format. Is I like the one-game advantage a lot more than the... There are some formats that are like, well, the winner has to only win one series, but the loser has to win a series and then win another series, which seems a little ridiculous. He's proxy raxing again. If it ain't broke, why fix it? But now we're looking at the TY cam throughout.
SCV ready.
TY usually I guess this is possibly the only Zerg player he feels like a macro game. Terrifying. Playing a macro game against Serral should terrify you. Because I don't know of a single player in the whole goddamn world who would be like, yeah, let's duke it out in a macro game, Serral. Okay. Innovation. But only because he has no emotions. And is like, well, I just execute better. I make 100 nuclear missiles. Profit. A gas is on the way. So this is a 2-Rex. There's a lot of details that go into the 2-Rex. Or proxy Rex in general. 1, 2, 3, and 4 racks all have very different responses. This is a 2 racks. For Serral, the correct response will be to pull drones. If he went hatch first, which according to the production tab, now we don't know that, TY doesn't know that, but according to that he went hatch first into a pool. Against 2 Rexes, you can pull drones to stop the bunkers and the Marines, because the drones and then Lings can overwhelm them. Against 3 Rex, you don't always want to do that, because the Marine count scales so quickly that you can get caught and just lose a bunch of drones. Serral's already pulling the drones. Oh, you don't... What the... Oh, what is this? Oh, my boy. Well, I mean, he gets through the bunker. At this point, well, the thing is, there's just not that many Marines. Yeah, if this was a 3 Rex and Marines were still building through, this would be very tough. Serral would really struggle, but he got through the bunker in time, because TY going for the more conservative factory follow-up, which will give him access potentially to Hellions earlier. So now this is kind of an interesting scenario, where TY has to cancel his depot. It looks like Serral has had a good response to this. He's recognized that more Marines or a critical mass of Marines aren't coming. So now TY has to make some hard decisions. He's still building Marines. There's probably... When you pull drones like that, you're very likely not getting quick speed. And the timing of the Lings and Spinecrawler and Creep is going to tell him everything he needs to know about the pool and the hatch. An expansion's on the way. That Overlord is going to go try to find a high ground location, I think. So TY, he has to gauge now. Both sides have to play a little bit of the, the little high ground Batman / pervert pillar, whatever you prefer, is going to keep the Overlord from being spotted. It's awkward for both sides, but this is definitely more mapped out for TY. As a Zerg, you kind of got to play it by ear. I mean, both sides do. It really depends on how many Lings you were forced to make, how many SCVs or Marines you killed, what they're doing. The thing this does, even for a Terran, even if you lose some map control, it's forced a certain response out of Serral. And if you can limit his responses, you can control them. Is that Overlord still going to be there? Where'd it go? That's actually a great question. Where did it go? Did it go to the other pillar? Very sneaky Overlord. Serral predicting. He knows the Rex are coming back. Where'd it go? It cloaked. I like the Hellion drop out of this as well. TY is someone who will fall back to the macro. He's how did it get there? So sneaky. TY doing whatever he can to get information. We kill the Obi. That would be nice. And this is the most minimal response you could have while still putting pressure on your opponent. Like right now, he really needs... The best way to scout your opponent is to attack. Because if you're attacking in a timely manner, then they're almost certainly going to be forced to respond with some percentage of their units. Whether, like, you can tell. Even if all you see is 4 queens, you know they invested in 4 queens. Serral didn't have a huge economy early. He can't just build 4 queens and a bunch of roaches and a spire. That's not happening. So dropping in the main... Seeing how many Zerglings are here to respond. How many... There's actually... Well, he sees the lair on the way, trying to go for the block, but already finding some opportunities is TY. 4 drones so far. Getting to the corner. A Liberator is coming out. Another cheap option, because none of these things require a tech lab on your starport. In fact, it's only cost him 100 gas thus far, and since he got his expansion late and had kind of limited SCV count, gas is at a premium. He's going to be going bio behind this. It is an armory. I don't believe he scouted the Baneling Nest. If he had scouted the Baneling Nest, I don't know if the armory choice would have been as good. Now, Banelings counter Hellbats, but it's a numbers game. Hellbats are still good. Remember, there's a Liberator. This is what TY is so good at. He's great at the kickers. That's why him and Special play very similar in that sense. There's a Liberator on the left. Medevac at the back. Hellbat push towards the third. If Serral doesn't watch all 3 points simultaneously, he's going to take a lot of damage. Liberator comes in the back. He's bringing the Hellions as well. Behind this, building up Stim +1. Another barracks is on the way. No third command center yet, so there will be a follow-up. Liberator finding opportunities. 2 drones thus far. Hellions in the main. Lings there to defend. Baneling Nest under fire, literally and figuratively. But 6 drones go down to the Liberator. The Hellbats are forcing the Queens to micro back. There's not that much in the way of Spore Crawlers either. Baneling's coming down from the main, and that means the Liberator gonna find an opportunity. He goes into the main base, switching around, finding more drones. 11, 12, a dozen so far, and the Liberator's still going. That Queen gets a transfuse from the back, but the Liberator gonna siege up, find some more drones. Everything being distracted here. And oh my god! 17 drones and counting. TY finding opportunities. And that's the problem here. He's forced Serral. If Serral wants to macro up, finally the medevac going down. If he wants to macro up, he's going to be spread thin. And if he's spread thin, then these units can pick him apart. And it's not like Serral was playing slow. It's just almost impossible, because these units require very different responses. Hellbats, you need Banelings and Queens. Liberators, Spore Crawlers in position. Hellion drop, Zerglings. If you have the wrong units in the wrong place at the wrong time, then any of those things can do critical damage. And both the Hellbats, well, pretty much all three of them, but the Liberator, the real MVP. And now TY immediately following this up with a tank push. That wasn't critical damage because there are still a lot of Queens. Lair on the way. Baneling Nest didn't die. Not that that would be a huge part of this. There are still 3 bases for Serral, but this follow-up push, aiming to hit ideally before something like Baneling Speed or Mutas or any other layer tech kicking in, and it will. He scans, he sees the Banelings aren't rolling. Serral says, that's enough. He had 64 drones. Serral over-droned behind this. Here's the thing. He denied the Overlord Scout, he pushed it to the back before. What does that mean? He didn't realize the normal follow-up to this, and I think what Serral was expecting, 3 command centers. Instead, TY added on another barracks and really pushed for a tank timing. So he kept him off balance. He knocked him to the side with the 2 wrecks. Serral kind of a little over-countered, and then went back to economy. And then TY hit him again. He hit him again with the triple prong. And Serral swayed all the way back to the other side. And he's staggering. He has a great economy. And then suddenly, he hits him again. And 64 drones and 18 Zerglings are not enough to defend 3 tanks, 30 Marines, a couple medevacs. It's not going to be enough. TY, pretty good at this game. The Chess Master. But now we're going to Thunderbird. That means TY is actually up in these Homestory Cup 19 Grand Finals 2-1. And that 1 is only from Serral's victory in the previous match. Let's take a look at his side of the story. I think it's... that's what I really like. I don't think I would do every sort of cast or breakdown or something in this first-person mode. But I think that was a great example of... I'm sure that looked great while we were watching in third person, while during the cast, the main cast. But watching TY play like that from his perspective, I think makes you really appreciate. It's not like Liberators are so strong or Hellbats are impossible to deal with. It was a juggling act, and he kept it all going for long enough to finally get the damage. What you'll notice, I think, by watching these players, especially Serral, is how much they're not doing. How much they're not paying attention to what you'd normally be watching if you're watching, like, a cast. Like that big fight in the middle of the map, or the harassment, or whatever. They probably, for the 10 seconds you watch those Banelings roll into a mineral line, Serral's already done 4 or 5 other things, none of which are for lack of a better term, sexy. Even though I would argue that everything Serral does falls under that. Have you seen his fedora? The only person under the age of 60 who's allowed to wear a fedora. So, I get a cap of pride in the chat. If you like Serral's Fedora, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more Fedora-related jokes, of which I've already made too many. Now, another thing, I haven't been pointing it out. Maybe I'll do a deeper dive at some point. But this is something you can copy. There are things from players that you can just straight copy. Overlord placements. Copy, paste. You can get these replays. They're available for everyone. Homestory Cup, amazing. Send out the replays to everyone. To do with what they will. And I will... Well, you're watching. But... you can look the replays yourself. You can break it down, pause every few seconds, like, where's this Overlord going? What time do you build this Overlord? You can copy-paste. Because Overlord placements are, I'd say 90% of the time, not player-related. They're just map and matchup dependent. Like, against Zerg, Serral's going to be sending his Overlords to different spots. But I don't think it matters too much what Terran he's facing in the finals here. He's going to put these Overlords... They don't move quick! They're not the most agile units, so it takes time for them to get in position. Yeah, you see the first one is actually behind the base, because that's the least obvious position. It will be spotted, but... And also he sees if any gases are taken at the net, as well as the SCV count. These aren't huge things. It's unlikely there'll be anything out of the ordinary there, but he might get some extra info. Also, this gives him maybe a couple more seconds before it could get sniped off. I want to point out, Serral, oh, he just saw all the information he needed. He's doing this with one Overlord Scout as well. This is what you'll see. Because Vikings and Marines and all those things, Serral, I believe every game so far, has only committed a single OV. Because it's very likely the rest are just going to get sniped off with not very much information. He uses lings to get continued information. So there he sees 3rd Command Center, plenty of Marines. Now, we can see in the production tab, Serral of course can. This is a little misleading. It looks like it's going to be Hellbats to follow up a Marine timing. But in Serral's mind, this is probably a 2-1-1 or maybe some sort of delayed tank push. So he's feeling safe to go up. He's already at 47 drones and counting. These Hellions are going to throw him a little off. Are we going to see a Baneling nest? Is he taking them seriously? He's adding on some more lings, but I don't think he's quite respecting the danger these Hellions pose. Oh my god. He's at 50 drones. Before 5 minutes. What is that drone count? At 5 minutes, his drone count is 50. He's already got 6 queens, adding on some more, double upgrades. Swarm forces under attack. Earth successful. Already taking down these rocks, because he's not going to be able to attack with the Zerglings, right? Did he actually mine that centerpiece, or was that TY who did that? I'm not sure, but either way, what is this? What is it? Where are the rest of the units? Serral knows there are more units coming. Oh, hello. Yeah, that lack of Baneling Nest is going to hurt here. He did not expect this many Hellions. Though picking off the Marines was nice, because that means his queens are going to be a lot more effective. Serral got 2 Zerglings into the main. I don't think either player has realized that yet. 4th base on the way. Liberator at the back. Pulls away immediately. Slayer is done. Spore Crawler coming up. Baneling speed immediately started. Baneling's in the front. Where are the queens? Serral has a select all queen hotkey that he always uses. No, you have to do it yourself, alright? There's no button for it. You just have to hotkey all your queens. Get it together. So far, it looks like the queens are just going to be handling the Hellions themselves. A single queen working on the Liberator at the back. He only lost a couple. This is the difference between off-balance Serral and solid scouting and macro Serral. Kind of a similar style of attack from TY, not as committed. But this time, 2 drones and Serral's at 60 drones. I mean, he kills 2 drones. Total. And Serral's at 60 with 1-1 on the way. Baneling speed coming up. Upgrades, 4th base. Already took down the... Well, mostly took down. He's going to finish off those rocks. Indeed he is. To make sure tank pushes. Can't catch him between a rock and a hard place. Well, at this point, I don't think Serral has realized his Lings got into the main, and this is mech. He is adding... Oh, I take it back. He has +1 ranged attack. He has a Roach more in. I didn't realize that Serral had already realized. This creep spread, already ridiculous. Serral chilling at a solid, well, at a balmy 400 APM to TY's 500. Wings and Banes here. The 2 Thors backing it up. This is kind of an older mech style, where you add the Thors in to make sure the Queens can't just counter everything. Oh, did he just lose a medevac with the Thor in it? TY? No, of course not. He's gonna lose one of the Thors, though. That's a little sloppy there. More than enough. And already a counterattack. How did these get in here? It's a little... everything's a little disjointed right now. But Serral's at 72 drones, TY at 66 SCVs. Serral gonna realize that their base is up and running. Infestation pit on the way. Is that gonna be for Swarm House or straight to Hive? Maybe a little bit of both. He has the economy. The creep spread gives him extra warning, and since he's not up against the Hell Clone style, wow, getting infestors. Well, everybody take notes. Getting infestors before anything else, and I think he's suspecting the Hell Clone style. Already Ravagers on the way. Some idle drones here, and a Nidus network. Speed Overlords being split off into position. He knows an attack is going to be following this. Like, he's not just going to sit back. 4 Swarm Hosts, Nidus. If he goes for a Hive, that might be reaching a little far. He is at 82 drones, though. This is full Zerg economy. Full Swarm. In fact, he's hosting it. Hell Clones are out. But since he didn't opt for them early, the Cyclone count doesn't seem to be that dangerous. There's not half a dozen or 10. There's only a couple. The Nidus, not quite done yet. He's scouting forward. Sees a 4th command center on the way. Gonna see another armory coming up as well. That means TY's expecting this to go later. Swarm House Nidus, just like the Bronze League heroes tell me is good. But Serral, he's going to use his counter-attacking Banes as a potential for the Nidus. He can go right over the mineral wall, which only the SCVs can mine out. Roach Ravager Infestor boxing out. The Hive hasn't been started. That should be started soon. Maybe with the first Nidus. He's staring at it. Now. Alright, there you go. Spire on the way. It's like, so you have the money. Come on, get a Hive. There's a Nidus. Oh my god. Does he have the Banelings? So when the Hellions come for the Nidus, the Banelings will hit the Hellions? Next level. Was that intentional, or was that just a happy accident? There's no such thing as mistakes in Serral land. The Banelings hit the Hellions! Already! They already countered! Oh my god. Serral already boxing out his Nidus and gets right back inside. Already a step ahead of the chess master TY. Nidus towards the north. Spire. Hive on the way. 7 more Swarm Hosts. The Locust. This first wave will be shot down, but the pressure continues to mount here. Serral has a 5th base on the way. He's not slowing down his tech tree growth either. Plenty of Swarm Hosts. How many Swarm Hosts total? He's at 15 and counting. Eventually he's going to want to get rid of these in favor of Corruptors and Brood Lords. Actually, Roach Rat... Well, it'll depend. Hellbat drops coming in. He doesn't have much of a counter to this. SCVs are going to go down to the Swarm Host. That'll take a little bit of pressure off TY. The Hellbat drops. Oh, another Nidus to the south. 2-2 just now starting for TY. +2 ranged attack coming up for Serral. The main mech army is moving its way to the center of the map. The Swarm Hosts are not here to help deal with it. Serral needs to box out for a little while longer. He didn't start a Greater Spire yet. He has no later game tech, no Hive tech coming through yet. The Locusts are working their way through. They have limited lives. They've got to make the best of it. TY definitely has a 4th base in the center as well, so Serral has to contend with that. More units coming out, 184 to 200 supply. Serral knows how dangerous this is. A Fungal at the front, Corrosive Bile, only going to find some Hellion. Few Banelings working their way through, +2 ranged attack, nearly finished. The Swarm Host, a lot of them are back. He pops them out of the Nidus defensively. One wave of Locust going to come out, trying to zone. The Fungal isn't there, the Banelings are gone, but a Fungal lands. The entire ground army obliterated, but Serral immediately replenishes it. Ravagers looking for an opportunity. Corrosive Biles find a tank before it can siege up. But the Liberators and tanks are on top of everything. Where are the Swarm hosts? Where are the Locusts? Another round coming out of the Nidus. Beautiful tank spread from TY. I can't believe it's not buttering my biscuit. The Locusts drop down onto the tanks. The spread beautifully microed. Queens and Roaches at the back, and somehow there are no more units. Serral is cleaning this up. So it all came together at the last second. The Swarm host on the right side of the map at the right time with seconds to spare before the 4th hatchery was obliterated. TY not going to take his foot off the gas, because if he does for a second, he's going to be losing this race. More Liberators, but will easily be gunned down by Corrosive Bile. Now the Swarm host at the back without any pressure at the front. TY on the back foot, and he's not going to be able to spring forward very easily. The Greater Spire space was created for it. He will be able to get to Broodlords. Serral has been at 200 supply for so much of this game. TY is not out yet, but he's definitely down. The creep spread, still the economy, 86 drones. Aliens looking for an opportunity. Some of the Locusts going to be split off. The Nidus is being knocked down, but this whack-a-mole game not going TY's way. Another Nidus. The bank continues to grow for Serral. Hellions at the back. He's on top of everything. Hellions gonna go down for free units, essentially. Serral's APM up to 430. Will we see the classic 500? Mainlings coming through. Not a very cost-efficient engagement, but he's kind of just freeing up supply. I take it back. He just remakes Roaches and Lings. Kind of surprised that is not the time for Broodlord. Serral says no, not yet. Another Nidus, another round of Swarm hosts. He's all over the map. Did you notice he just injected all his hatcheries? Probably not. The Swarm host waiting for an opportunity. Liberator gonna siege up. TY not giving up yet, but Serral has plenty. $22 more Banelings. He's playing the full Swarm style. It is now truly tower defense, fortress defense even. Are the Locusts enough? No. He defends, but they're at the net as well. Serral looking for another base. 17 SCVs go down. TY's economy is crumbling. He needs to find an angle, but Serral's covering them all. Another Spire on the way. That's how you know you're doing good. Serral on the left. What? Oh. Serral made a slight mistake for maybe the first time. It took him an extra 2 seconds. That's the only time you'll watch him look at a screen for more than 2 seconds. Already in position. He knows where these units are going to end up. He's scouting them to the left. Decides he can attack in to the 4th base. The Banelings crashing through. That planetary fortress holds. Wait, no, the Corrosive Bile! The fadeaway kill! And suddenly TY is going to be struggling. His main is almost certainly mined out. His natural's nearly gone, despite having so few SCVs. The 4th base is gone as well. There was a CC right next to it. More Swarm hosts. He's at the net. He's at the 4th again. TY is all sorts of in. All the Swarm hosts have used their Locusts. There's a small opportunity here. Corrosive Bile airballs it. Hellbat's on the Ravagers, though. He's going to have to micro back. Those Liberators have to be well spread. The Cyclone's doing their best. There are no Broodlords, but there's a whole lot of Banelings. The Baneling's gonna try to roll through. He is on the creep, but the tanks! The tank's not killing them quick enough. He gets on top of everything. Ravagers doing their best. He's buying time for the next Swarm host wave. Serral barely dips below 200 supply for more than a split second. The Liberator's doing a great job thus far. The Locusts have to come back to defend. This is the last stand of TY. He's got to push all the way through or at least do critical damage here, because he's got nothing to go home to. Serral coming in. Deja vu as the Locust wave comes through. Liberators thinned out. Even the Swarm host getting in on the action. Maybe even some select all-army hockey action. Not enough. TY taps it out. His army dismantled. Serral. He survived this time. Can we... we gotta go back. We gotta go back. I noted the time. This. Right here, TY has even army supply. It's 1-1 versus 2-2. But this is where it felt like Serral might be broken. Right? Now, TY doesn't have much behind this, and he's on creep. But I want to slow it down. Corrosive Bile knocks down a Liberator. Locusts come in from the back. The tanks. Now, I want to point the Locust micro. I know it sounds dumb, but look at him. He's splitting them to spread out the splash damage. The tanks are hitting Locusts. That allows the Roaches to come in. And every split second that Roaches aren't being hit, our tank's dying. At the hatchery at half HP, but still all the drones alive. The timing could not have been more perfect. And from there, like, this is not enough momentum to carry through. So Serral ties it up 2-2. And Jimmy says we do have a quick public service announcement real quick before we get into the next match. Just breaking news real quick. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about all the ways you can watch exciting replays in StarCraft 2. Now, have you never watched a replay before in your StarCraft career? Did you know that you could get achievement points for simply watching a singular replay in StarCraft? Many of you, even up to Diamond League, I'm pretty convinced, do not have that achievement. But these replays, I will try to remember to put a link down below if you're on YouTube. After you smash the like button and subscribe, you will have access to the description and the ability to read. So check that out. But you can go watch these games on your own time, at your own speed. This is what I did when I was starting out in StarCraft 2. I'd probably play 10-15 games, but after 2 or 3 hours, it gets a little hard to focus. You spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes watching a couple games, a couple replays, just kind of relaxing, and it's relaxing. These games so relaxing, right? It makes it a little easier to untilt, get a new perspective. Maybe just watch the perspective of a different race. Like if you're struggling in Protoss versus Zerg, watch the Zerg. See where it seems they're scared, something like that. And your own replays as well. You'd be surprised at what you find when you take a second look, instead of just saying in Twitch chat, why didn't you try winning the game instead of losing the game? And let's ask TY that question in this upcoming match. But thank you. This has been a public service announcement, and back to your regularly scheduled program. Thank you guys for sticking around. Next match is on Kairos Junction. Let's get those scores on the board. This time, we're switching it back to the Terran.
SCV ready.
TY, not sending any SCVs out this time, which is different than the other games he's won, so...
Additional supply depots required.
SCV ready.
Alright, that last match, that was quite a game from Serral. And the thing is, like, TY wasn't a pushover there at all. Serral got everything he wanted. He defended the early harass. But TY still put him on the ropes there with multiple attacks. The Swarm Host Nidus, it's really hard to manage multiple waves of Locusts and Nidus and do anything at home. Like, I cannot stress how many times I or most other players would have slammed on the select all army hotkey and had all the swarm hosts with their locusts behind them, a move to their death to siege tanks. But good thing we're not using me as a standard, because I get the dirty esports money to talk, not to play. Please subscribe. Factory's on the way. This is the closest we've gotten to the most, well, standard opener. That last opener, we didn't see exactly what TY was doing. Oh, wow. Serral actually opting for a pool first. Now, the timing of the hatchery will tell TY. He does not need to cancel his hatch. I mean, his command center. If he had a hatch, that'd be impressive. Because a hatchery that quick means it's almost certain it won't be quick Zergling speed. There is Zergling speed on the way. But if the hatch is over halfway done like it was at that scenario, then he's not threatened before the CC finishes. Now, the reason why Serral might do this, and the reason why it can be effective is, one, it's much better against proxy rares. Like, you already have Lings and Queen out before a bunker can finish. And two, if they don't SCV scout, that Reaper's halfway across the map, the Lings come in and just cancel or delay the CC. It does put you a little behind economically, so Serral going to be a little behind from where he'd usually be with a hatch first. But he has options.
Our SCVs are under attack. Add-on complete.
No man left behind. Wait, what did he lose? Did he lose a scouting SCV or something? I don't know.
SCV ready.
Oh, it's gonna be like, perfect game from TY so far. There's no way he can be beat. That is highly unlikely. He started Cloak. Is he actually going to get Cloak? What we've seen is no battle cruisers yet out of TY. If you remember GSL, if you happen to watch his games in GSL and Specials games, because those are two sides of the same coin. Battle cruiser against Zerg like every single match. Didn't go great, but they were very committed to the battle cruiser tech. So here's the thing about a Tech Lab starport. It's one of the most ambiguous things since the Twilight Council. You have no idea. Like, even if he's researching something, he can just cancel it for full price. It could be a Liberator. It could be a Raven. It could be a Banshee. Battlecruiser isn't out of the question. So we saw a Tech Lab starport, but that tells Serral very little. Besides, there's probably going to be more air units. Is he really going to try to go for this? Oh, don't lose the Viking! What are you doing? What are you doing, TY? What? That was a bit uncharacteristic. He didn't even get the overload. So, good scout from the Reaper. Gets full intel. There's not... a layer's done, but it's 4 Baneling speed, and there's a lot of drones at the third. Third command center is just now starting, so this feels a little awkward for TY, to be honest. It feels like Serral has taken... He's cut some corners, and he's gonna get away with it. Because right now, he's over 50 drones. Well, wait, he did not finish Cook, okay. But he did build a Banshee. If this Banshee can find some kills, maybe get him to freak out. Barracks are on the way behind. And this is TY just saying, well, I gotta do something. He doesn't have a medevac with this, but he does have 2 tanks and a pretty nasty position. There's a reason Serral was taking out this location. He's got the Liberator coming together. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, underestimating TY. This is actually a pretty strong attack. The Banshee a little bit off-center. Looks like it will die to the Spore Crawler. Well, maybe not. All the Queenslings are good. Okay. Yeah, that's more what I expected. Without medevacs or stim, at some point, there's a number of units that will run you over, especially if Baneling speed is done, because Baneling speed gives 5 extra HP on Banes as well as speed. So, the Banshee almost killed the spawning pool and got some drones of its own and almost got away. Serral just got too big too fast, though. That was a Zerg that was more scared of what TY was doing might have taken damage, because that really relied on Serral, I guess, kind of playing safe. That was an off-tempo timing. Like, if you're hitting with that group of units, you're really trying to hit in the space while they're droning up after having their hatch tech. But Serral just droned up, was done droning, and then could have a bunch of Wings Banes with speed, with a lair tech kicking in. So, that's kind of a square peg, round hole situation.
Add-on.
Serral just a greedy devil, but he knows when he can get away with it. That's why he's so good. TY's not out of it yet. Serral did delay upgrades a bit for that. He lost a handful of drones. TY's been ramping up his production. He hasn't lost anything on his end of things. It's just his third base was a little slow. So,
This better be good. Armed and ready.
this does mean that the next timing TY chooses, and it's very likely it'll be TY choosing, has to be decisive, has to do damage. Oh, whoa! Did he just contaminate Stim? Oh my god, he delayed the Stim upgrade. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
This better be good.
It's not gonna have a huge... Well, this double drop won't have Stim. Like... Oh, what? TY's like, wait. Is that my side of the map? Look at this creep spread. Oh my god. I mean, I know we're watching TY, but look at this creep spread. Serral has ramped up, and he just shows no signs of slowing down. Oh, wow. I feel like TY did a double take, like, uh-oh. That is not a good feeling.
Research complete.
Oh my god.
Complete.
He's gotta find some space. Like, you can't let him go any further. You can't let him do this. You can't let him have all this. But there's a whole lot of ground to cover. Armory is a little on the slow side. 2-2 already started for Serral. The upgrades are even right now. The supplies are near even. But the creep essentially is a multiplier. While the creep is there, these units are just better. It's like they have another set of upgrades when they're on creep. More speed, more handsome. Oh my.
Depleted.
And you can pull things up. But TY knows he has to assert himself because it's now or never. If Serral gets the whole map and... Oh my god. You can hear it. You can hear how good those Banelings are doing. Give me some target fire. There it is, but... Okay, nice pickup. He gets out. There's a whole lot of production behind this, remember. 2-2 is on the way. He's put himself out there. And that's the first step. You gotta put yourself out there. Okay? If you don't put yourself out there, how are you gonna know? How are you gonna know? Maybe he'll reject you. You don't know. Or maybe you'll get inside his natural. If you try hard enough. And now TY, he just has a big mass of Marines, tanks, and Marauders. Serral, he did have to cut corners somewhere, and that was mostly in just the sheer unit count. He didn't have that many units. He has enough to defend drops. Got a lot of creep. But suddenly he's showing some cracks in the armor here. There's just not that many units everywhere to defend. So TY has been able to chip pieces off. This is 191 supply of Terran. Doesn't have 2-2 done, so he's down 2 upgrades right now, but that's a whole lot of Terran. Medevacs at the back, tanks as well. A long-distance tank push coming together. Can maybe try dropping on the Banes. How many tanks? He's got 7 tanks with this. No upgrades on him. He's got to be worried about a flank here. A 4th base going to be built. Not floated, but built. Serral has that other base as well. Serral looking for a flank around the back. Going for the high ground is TY. He's got the double drop coming up. Blinding Cloud comes through. Snipes off one of the Vipers. The Baneling's coming up. The Blinding Clouds are pretty dangerous, but there are so many tanks at the back, he's got to retreat back to the line. Are there enough Blinding Clouds? The 2 tanks on the high ground worth their weight in golden minerals right now. Most of the medevacs will survive. It's unclear what happened to the drop. TY has been laser focused at the front here, and he has to be. Once that 2-2 finishes, these units are going to become a lot more cost-effective. Is 3-3 done for Serral? Serral canceled his 3-3. That's how scary this was. If he had it at all, I believe I saw at least 1+3 upgrade. I'm not sure if I saw 2. But he's taking this very serious. Now, of course, there's no way for TY to know that. Yeah, adrenal glands are done. TY getting his 4th. He's still maintaining a solid supply count. There hasn't been any other hive tech kicking in, which means these units are still pretty cost-effective. Those Zerglings, though, cannot be allowed to get in any mineral lines. Look at those depot walls across the board.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Mineral field.
Liberation is at hand.
Oh, Viper at the front. Gonna be pushed back. More Marines. The tank's not even sieged. There's not that many Banelings in the first wave. The second wave, though, devastating. Serral's pushing through. Liberator sieging up. He's trying to hold the line. It's not enough. Serral breaks through. Wow. That was scary. I think the defining moment of this game was when TY flew his drop down, and then there was creep there. Every Terran has had that feeling before. Of like... it's like, oh no. Oh no. And it was and the fact he did like a double take. The problem was, TY was doing a pressure build that just didn't put on much pressure. He wasn't doing a quick third in the Hellions. The Hellions were a big part of it. And if that doesn't get much damage done, Serral just... Well, you saw the creep. You saw it. So Serral's up 3-2. 1 game away from another Homestory Cup championship. Next match is Cyber Forest. That is terrifying. The Zerg are very scary. TY. Oh wait, we just watched TY. You know what? We're gonna watch TY one more time. Oh. Never mind, it's a 2-Rex. I want to see Serral's response. Is it a 2-Rex? We'll flip over. We'll get both sides of the cheese story. So TY is building... TY very conservative with his barracks placement. He's building him so far out, even if the Overlord is scouting for him, it won't see him easy. Like, Serral is already scouting with his OV, looking specifically for this. He's not going to find it. And the problem is, even if you do scout it, you don't know if he built like a 3rd barracks a little bit off to the side. It's just going to be the 2-Rex from TY. Serral's going to spot it. Now, here's another question. Does he pull his Overlord back in time? No, he's just going to go by. At this point, TY knows he spotted it. So here's the thing. Air units have 1 additional vision range over ground units. This is why, like, having air units with siege tanks is important. Cancels the gas. Having air units with siege tanks, he could have pulled back immediately when he saw it, and then TY might have thought he didn't see it. But Serral decided scouting for information was more important. Alright. So TY knows this has been spotted. He already saw drones off the line. Serral's pretty confident that this is only This is only
Command center upgrade.
a 2-rack split. This is kind of like what happened on King's Cove. King's Cove, TY able to recover well. Serral is not screwing around right now. Very good micro from the Marines. He finds 1 drone. 3 drones down thus far. A lot of drones have been pulled. Lings are on the way. The SCV says, let me have this. Serral looking to box out. 3 Marines are not enough. Well, against this many Lings, maybe. He's microing back. 4 Lings and an SCV. The SCV actually screws things up a little bit. Sliding by. Nice micro. Only the Marines that are being surrounded. I don't know if he got the cancel on that. Serral driven back. Just very good stutter step micro. I don't believe there was a spine crawler here.
SCV ready.
I just need these players to get to 500 APM each so we can make a clickbait thumbnail that says 1000 APM StarCraft. Though I've seen Serral over 500 average, TY usually closer to 400. Can we round up? It's the internet, okay?
SCV ready.
942 APM StarCraft doesn't sound as clickbaity. It really does depend on the playstyles as well. Like, literally when you're building Zerglings, your APM is just higher than if you're building Roaches, because you're just building more things, so that counts as more actions.
SCV ready.
Moving your camera actually doesn't count as an action. So when Serral is... Well, what is Serral doing now? When Serral is moving his camera around, until he actually does something, that doesn't count as an action. You can go through all... You can flip all the way around the map. That doesn't actually change anything until you decide to do something.
Add-on.
Ready to raise some hell. SCV ready.
Additional supply.
TY denying scouting. Wait, how much did Serral see? He didn't get up the ramp. That's very important.
Ready for dust off.
TY denying scouting, so the Hellions won't be spotted until, well, now. The medevac will not be spotted. It appears he's intentionally avoiding overlords.
Command center upgrade complete.
There's stim on the way, so TY is not expecting this to be a game-ending move. 4 Hellions here. The medevac... You all saw that. You saw that. Friendly firing his Hellion to kill a creep tumor.
Add-on complete.
Doing what needs to be done. The drop in the main. Speed seems to be done here. And that is plenty of Zerglings for now. Wow, really?
Add-on.
He got 2 drones as well.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
You want a piece of me?
I have nothing to say here. I
Who wants some? SCV
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
up, ready to go.
TY
Coming through.
microing his heart out. He's got to win. He's got to win every game from here on. Move over, Warp Prisms. I have a medevac and Hellions. Now watch him lose, like, all 4 of them. I believe that tank was spotted by a Zergling, so Serral might have an idea. He actually just built drones. Once again, TY has followed up the 2 racks with Hellions into a tank push. A little bit different than the King's Cove game, but the ideas are similar. If Serral doesn't recognize that this isn't a 3-base... Oh, he's bringing the tanks and the medevac, not only just for positioning, but for hiding them.
Research.
Until they pop out, you have no idea what's in that medevac. He can maybe get the high ground, and Serral decided to take the 3rd base that's on the low ground by his main, as opposed to the high ground on the left side. So that means a tank push could be even more effective. He could shoot over the top and cover his units, as we're about to see a representation of. Alright, the Marines are coming in. It's time. He's looking for an opportunity. One queen gonna be targeted down. He makes his way back. Baneling targeted immediately. The medevac needs to be kept alive. Flank from the back. More Marines in position. The medevacs are holding their ground. Without speed, those banelings can't close the distance. The medevac on the low ground falls, but the tanks still hold. Two more medevacs show up. Without baneling speed, banelings off creep are easy pickings. Still, TY maintains the momentum. Those tanks, how many kills? 10 kills, 6 kills, most of them banelings. Serral starts as 1-1. TY doesn't, he has combat shields done. A little bit more survivable on those Marines. He picks them up, he's gonna get them behind the tanks. He's trying to keep them alive, targeting things down. More Marines coming up to reinforce. The tanks getting as many shots off as they can. They will fall, but another round of reinforcements across the map. The Queen's off great! More banelings coming up. The tug of war continues. The worker counts 53 to 41. TY doesn't know exactly how many Serral has, but he knows he has a third and he's mining from it. He's got to keep the pressure on. The tank target fire onto the Banes. Beautifully done. No banelings left over. Now 4 medevacs. Plenty. He's building liberators, recognizing he has plenty of medevacs now. They're not going to get taken down anytime soon. The tank retakes the position of its fallen brothers. The Queen's pushed up against the ramp. Suddenly, it's Marines in between the natural and the third, where Zerglings once stood. The Marines stand their ground. Without banelings, you can't stop this much Terran. The Queens gun down one by one. 2 left, none left. Serral taps it out. We're going to match point. TY chooses his timing.
This better be good. SCV ready. Go, go, go. Armed and...
I don't know why Serral chose to go for that base. That base is... Was there something... I don't know. Because that is much more vulnerable to tank pushes. Just like that. Like... You don't... the high ground works against you instead of for you. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he took it so early. TY didn't scout that early, so maybe he took it so early that TY didn't see it until later on, and he just had it the whole time. I'm not sure. One more game. Either way, I hope you guys are enjoying the first-person breakdown. Of course, check out Take TV for the cast. I'm sure the casters did a great and passionate job. You make sure to leave a comment about which Dutch caster you prefer. But we are in Game 7. It's 3-3. There's one more game. This decides it. TY dragging so. Every game TY has won, he built a barracks outside of his base. At least one. If I'm Serral, maybe I consider another pool first. Alright? He's going to go for a 16 hatch, which is a little bit safer than a 17 hatch, for obvious reasons, but he does want a hatch first, but he's not. How many drones does he build behind? 1? Oh, he's going to build 3. He's saying he built 2 more drones. He had the larvae. He built them after scouting for that proxy Rex location. Just something to point out. It seems he's actually reacting on the fly, specific timings. Could you calm down, Serral? Like, come on. Okay. We're trying to watch the game here. I don't think he can calm down. What? A bunker? It's a fake. Or is it? Like, it's so far away. TY, like, this is such a bait. He knows, right? Wait a second. How did no one... Okay, everybody else is getting it now. It took me 2 whole minutes to realize this was game 1. I'm dumb. This series has been so intense, I already forgot game 1. I was like, wait a second. I'm getting some serious deja vu here. I'm a professional. I knew exactly what was... But we found new details, right? Like the timing of when everything happened. We found new things. It wasn't a total wash. Okay. Actual game number 7 of the Homestory Cup 19 Grand Finals. The actual game 7. A new repugnancy. Don't judge me. Yeah, I just want to see good games. I could watch the same Serral game 6 times in a row. And it'd be better than your replays. No offense. Alright, so does TY build a barracks outside the base? Okay. In my defense, when you cast so much StarCraft, you sometimes forget which maps were played in which series. That's all I got. And also, it was in order. Jimmy's we're firing Jimmy after this, I promise. It's his fault. A CV scout coming out. TY been pretty consistent with that. The Overlord gonna sneak all the way around the back. I think he's intentionally trying to avoid the obvious pathing here. Any larvae saved up? 2 larvae. Gonna get 4 lings. Things like pulling off of gas. After having enough for... oh my god. SCB halfway to killing a drone. I believe he just pulled off a gas. He was so quick, I barely saw it. He may have hotkeyed those drones, I'm not sure. Micro, anti-micro. This is the part... Now, since this is the finals, like, both players are obviously expected to be on top of this Reaper and anti-Reaper micro. But that's the kind of stuff that on the ladder, that's your first interaction with your opponent. By the way, that creep tumor is not just because he wants it close to his third. That area blocks vision from the Reaper, making it less likely it gets sniped off, because the cliff blocks it. But the early dance between the Reaper, how committed they are, you can get a serious feel for how your opponent's going to play. Like, are they really pushing to get that Reaper damage in? Or are they just trying to poke around? That's what you'll use on the ladder to really figure out what kind of opponent you're facing. But of course, TY, you're not going to expect him to slip on his Reaper micro. He's not going to slip on his Reaper micro. So Serral has to expect that the Zerglings must be microed in turn or he's going to lose drones. The Overlord actually made it all the way around and is coming from the top of the base down in, just subverting expectations as always. And that means he's going to get a pretty total scout of the base.
Swarm forces under attack.
Roach Hornet, wait, oh. Really? In game 7? So he's just gonna go for it? He's still building drones. How many drones are we at? 38? Is this a defensive Roach Hornet? If he may just go for a Roachling all-in. Ravagerling, maybe? No, he's building drones, but he's not building a lair or a Baneling nest. Okay. So, I guess it's defensive. I'm actually a little confused, because usually you see a Baneling nest as potential Hellbat defense, but he did see that Stim was upgrading, I believe, right? Is there enough energy for Transfuse? Why are the Hellions there? What happened here? TY. Oh, whoa! That grenade almost perfect, but not quite perfect. That's a lot of Zerglings. Serral's not getting a lair. He doesn't have an Evo chamber. Looks like he's hard stopping at 40 drones, and now he's getting a lair and getting more drones, so I should stop talking. But I'm kind of confused, like, what are we... Who's trapping who? That tank doing a lot of damage. A little bit of an offbeat play here, for sure. The roaches are going to be spotted by the Viking.
Insufficient.
But behind this, Serral is droning hard. We should see... Yep, there it is. Double Evo. He is really trying to sell this all in. Is he going to build... Yeah, that's a good scan from TY. Trying to see if he should call the bluff. And indeed he should. As a lair on the way, combined with a roach attack, means that roach attack is not very committed. TY looking for exactly the right things here.
Newly birthed queen.
The Evo chamber is actually at the third. I'm not sure if that's so much because that was a convenient place, and how much he wanted to deny scouting. But not seeing the Evo chambers means TY still has to respect the option for roaches. And it seems they've successfully kept him busy. Oh my god, Serral. That Ling about to scout a drop. Oh, he saw it. Oh my god. He saw it for a split second. If you noticed on the minimap, TY backed off because he spotted the Ling. But Serral saw it for 0.1 seconds, and that was 0.1 seconds too many. He spotted the drop, and now Serral will be ready for that. Ling on patrol. Very vigilant. Get him out. Get him out of this game. He didn't deserve to be here. Lagging out in the middle of the match. Double drop is in the main. There wasn't much to spot it. The Roach is still kind of an awkward spot. He's going for the brick style. It's not Emil. Hashtag not Emil. It's not a Russian caster this time. Or Polish caster, I believe. I think. Who's usually lagging historically. No offense.
Tumor under attack.
But Serral's going for this Roach Ravager style, which is very uncharacteristic. Honestly, I don't know if this is the way to go against TY. Like, TY should know how to pick this apart. The big weakness of the Roach Ravager style is simply how immobile it is. Like, the drops on the left, the drop to the north, drop to the south. The Roaches have to scramble to defend. There's no real anti-air. Infestation pit on the way. He's got a Baneling nest as well. I think Serral's starting to realize the major weaknesses of this style as well. He's already got Zerglings coming up. +1 Carapace as well. Does he go straight for a hive? Are we actually going to see infestors? The creep spread is good. Tank attack coming out. A single Zergling getting valuable scouting information once again. Overseer coming in. He's already on the other base. He cancels everything. TY is a 2-base all-inner here. At least for now. He needs every possible unit he can get. He's just scratched it all in favor of more roaches because he needs to deal with the problems here and now and not the ones somewhere in fantasy land down the line. The attack is coming from the north. There's some tanks with it, but that's a whole lot of roaches and ravagers. The brute force approach should be enough for Serral now that he's committed everything to it. He's going to re-expand to the south. He doesn't know if this base is going to be dangerous. Liberator in the main. Going to force him to pull off. Now that means the attack might be coming forward. TY gonna do whatever he can to drag him out of position. Just keep him looking all the wrong ways. Is the army still down here? No, it's gone. Most of it is in the center of the map. Well, the third base is being taken. He sees that on the mini-map. Liberator going to escape. Just a drop in the center. Base is scouted for TY. Roach Ravager in the center. Will he counterattack? Another drop going up towards the north. The Medevac can follow this, and without Queens, he's gonna actually struggle to take it out. Remember, he canceled the infestation pit. He's going to rebuild all of that. TY forced him to commit. And then he backed off at the last second. So while Serral had enough to defend the first attack, now that problem he was worrying about later is going to manifest itself. There is a third base. There are a lot of tanks. He didn't really kill much supply of TYs, and he didn't really slow down his economy that significantly, besides the fact that TY didn't have a very quick third. Drop to the south. The medevacs are following the main brunt of the Ravagers. More spore crawlers coming up. The static defense is required when the mobile defense is lacking.
Under attack.
Creep spread, working its way up towards the north. He's slowly working his way across the map. Creep spread is a very, very rough indicator of the position of a Zerg in the game. If it's over halfway across, they're doing well. Anything less than that, and it becomes more and more of a struggle, especially with this unit composition. There are roaches everywhere, but they're anchored to the base as long as he has no anti-air.
As evolved.
Serral's maxed out on supply. The problem is, 1/1 Roach Ravager Ling doesn't stack up that great against what TY has. Another double drop is coming in from the south. Serral might not actually be paying that close. Oh wait, those are Liberators. And Ravagers don't deal with Liberators. A single Ravager not going to cut it here, but the double drop, he might find one. The Ravagers block the Queens. The Queens are pissed. Liberator at the back. TY also has some in the top left. Another drop to the north. Serral's got to deal with all these things simultaneously and then some. Hive is on the way. Baneling speed starting up. Ravagers moving to the north. The main brunt of TY's army is coming in. Actually, that's just a double drop. He's got to worry about any other forces coming from the south. Liberators keeping him tied back at home. It's hard to tell whether those are medevacs or Liberators just on the minimap. Couple more. Now we see TY has 2-2 on the way, and Serral knows he hasn't really pressured his economy. He's on a solid 3 bases. Queensy can continue pressing forward. Queen's assassinated. Creep going down. Roaches and Ravagers scrabble back. He has 200 supply, but he has no way to get across the map without potentially taking critical damage at home. Misplay on the Liberator means a little bit more space is freed up.
Command.
Viper is on the way. 4 changelings coming in. 2-2. Enough time has been bought that Hive Tech will kick in. Serral he chose the Roach Ravager, and it's been a struggle, but he's finally going to be able to transition out of it. He's trying to take a fight. This is actually freeing up supply here. He doesn't want the Roaches and Ravagers very much, especially the Roaches anymore. They're just not the units he wants in his army. He's got 80 drones TY, classic TY, 82 SCVs. Let's just jump over to the TY cam. This is the game 7. TY now, he has 4 bases. He's adding on more production. Starports. He's got the 4th base. The planetary is secured. There's not that much out on the map. He's got to decide, do I go for one big push here? Or do I split units again? He's adding more starports. I think he has to split. He has to find a way to put some pressure on. Here comes Serral. He's already pushing forward, dealing with the creep outside of his fort. It's at his front door. He needs to get it off his lawn. Serral, the main brunt of his forces coming in. TY splitting back, looking to target the main link. Most of them being negated. The tank count is huge, but the triple bile gonna double kill the tanks. A lot of Ravagers going down in turn. TY's supply not quite close to 200, but he's doing his best to keep it there. That tank is walled off. I've done that too. We've all been there. Not the kind of thing he can afford. Fusion core is on the way. He's looking for Liberator range. Scan. He scans the natural. He sees the Hive is done. He knows Vipers, Broodlords, Ultralists. The existential Zerg is coming for him. But he's got 5 bases. He's got a whole lot of supply. He's got decent upgrades. He's got a lot of tanks. He's got a dream. These Roaches, he's obviously freeing up supply as Serral. TY hasn't put any pressure on the map for a while. Did he see the army? He scans it. Vipers coming in. There are just so many tanks. They're well spread. The Blinding Cloud doesn't negate the frontal line. More tanks at the back. The Blinding Cloud's still going, but most of the bio going to be able to go into him. Got to be careful. The Blinding Clouds force them back. TY holding and holding strongly. He pushes everything back. There are too many tanks. The Vipers were able to win the beginning of the fight, but they lose the entire battle. Serral driven down in supply, makes 92 more Zerglings. TY holding the line. The problem is, well, Liberator range. He finished the fusion core. He's got to start his Liberator range as soon as possible. The Liberator range, the lack of Spire so far is what has been keeping TY going. There it is. Advanced ballistics. He doesn't have the gas. He really wants it. Sees the main brunt of the Zerg to the north. There's still no reliable anti-Liberator. Ravagers are good, not great. They can only really kill 1 or 2 at a time. The bio holding. Ooh, corrosive biles finding targets. Adrenal glands is done, we can see. TY just knows He has to defend. He's gonna split off a drop. We should see more drops. There's no way TY is just gonna do the one. Well, he knows Hive Tech is kicked in. He's flying over the main brunt of the Zerg army. Thankfully, no anti-air there. Here comes Serral from the north. Is Serral gonna come in from the south? He's on the other base as well. He's got... TY can't commit any attention to it. Is there repair? He could go for it, but the other base is getting hit too! There's too much Zerg! He's on the south! The planetary falls. Is there another base? A good connection. Oh, and this base, where are the tanks? They're gone. And so is the planetary. Serral with a double kill. Let's go back to Serral. Just overwhelming force, hitting both sides and winning both fights. The drops are coming in, but they're more desperate than they would have been with 2 more bases behind it. He's now got to defend the counterattack. TY didn't lose much in the way of army supply. He lost bases, but you got to refill, and Serral doesn't have a huge bank here. Ranged Liberators, a real threat. There aren't really many Corruptors. Counterattack coming in. Those Zerglings easily going to be able to deal with a single tank, especially if it's hitting its own sensor tower. He's buying time. Greater Spire is on the way. I don't know if there are any Corruptors. Are there any Corruptors? There's no anti-air. That's actually a whole lot of Liberators. 8 Liberators on the field. Serral doing whatever he can to go around. He can't engage head-on right now. Ranged Liberators at the back. Maybe some parasitic bombs could be an option. He's looking for opportunities, not finding them. Ranged Liberators at some point are going to force the issue. TY is pushing forward. The counterattack. Zerglings finding an opportunity. That Liberator just too far away. Serral trying to put out fire, so is TY. Counterattacking Zerglings doing good damage, but this army is deadly. Blinding Cloud on the tanks, going to give him some time to potentially take them out, but that's a lot of energy on the handful of Vipers he does have. TY's production line and reinforcements are being cut off by a handful of Zerglings. That ranged Liberator, very, very tough to deal with without actual air-to-air. Still a whole lot of mainlings. TY got to be careful. Serral boxing him out of his base for now. But the Liberators are starting to win the war of attrition. The Queens are coming up. He's actually microing here. That means he's not paying attention to other sides of the map. Splits off a lot of Zerglings. Marines on top of the base. Still, the huge counterattack. There shouldn't be a planetary quite yet. There is a tank on the high... Well, actually, not high ground. Close enough. A lot of Zerglings there. Marines stimming in. Are the Banelings? No, he picks up in time. TY on top of it. He's already taken out the base in the center. The Liberators, a Venn diagram of freedom throughout the entire center of the map. Where are the Corruptors, Serral? Does he feel like he just can't afford the anti-air right now because the ground is so strong? He's pinned, he's boxed out of the center of the map. He's going to try to engage everything. Lings coming down from the top. Liberators trying to hold, but Serral smashes both sides. The Ultralisk pushing through. Liberators will survive the engagement, but Serral can refill. What does he decide to refill with? TY doesn't have the bank. Another, more Lings, Roaches, Banelings, lists, Lings and lists across the board. More Vipers coming through. The pincer attack. The TY sandwich with the Serral bread. Go back to TY. He's going to need to hold... Well, he's lifted his main. That's how you know he's getting desperate. He would love a planetary here. He can't have it. He doesn't have a Ghost Academy. He's got to find something. More Lings are coming in. He can shut these ones down. But at this point, the bases are starting to mine out. The resources drying up. He doesn't know it yet, but Broodlords are in production. He hasn't even... I don't know if he's seen a single Corruptor. He may have. But without Ghosts and without Vikings, these Broodlords and Serral with such an economy behind it, deadly. Tanks work both ways. Vikings are already on the way. He knows. He must have seen a Corruptor, or he just knows that Serral would be attacking if he's not going Broods. Very simply. Marines doing their best to drive back the creep that's continually being replaced. Tank looking for an opportunity. Actually getting some great shots off. The Ravager's not finding it. TY really still just trying to push Serral away. TY's really got to get something going here. He's close to 200 supply, but this is not the best army he could have. What has Serral got? Is it time for the attack? Here they are. The Broodlords. Everything needs to be part of this. Parasitic Bomb going to be very helpful. He could just throw it on him. The Broodlords microing back. Each Broodling wave doing extra damage. There are Lings in the third. Get over here. The Queens and Corruptors taking out the Vikings. Finally, Serral takes all his counterattacks one bit at a time into a fist and punches through the planetary at the front. TY driven back down to 4 bases and tenuous at best. Most of those mined heavily, if not mined out. TY still has a whole lot of army. Are there any infestors? There are not. Parasitic bomb used. The Vikings being softened up here. There's not that much splash damage on the ground. The Liberator's doing a good job on the Banelings. So are the tanks. No binding clouds. TY's holding. He actually unsieges the tanks, but they eat a lot of the Baneling hits. But is there enough? Serral at 200 supply, and he refuses to drop any lower. 500 APM. GG. WP. Serral takes it all the way home. TY could drive him back, but he couldn't drive him out. Serral eventually consolidated everything. The pushes, the counter pushes, the counter attacks of Zerglings. TY couldn't find any room to breathe. The Queens. Yes, this is what victory feels like, Brenda. When the Queens are part of the late game push, the Queens who help defend throughout all of the early game, defend the Liberators, defend the Medivacs, if not the ones who were there earlier, the ones who finish it. Serral takes the Homestory Cup 19 finals, his second in a row. He takes it 4-3. TY putting up a strong fight, winning every game. He didn't build his first barracks in his base. So, I'm just saying. But hopefully you enjoyed the breakdown. 1,000 APM. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe in every way possible. And, oh, Terran is so easy, or Zerg is so easy, or I could beat Serral. Well, let me consult the graph here. We've got to actually make sure to check out Angry Coach for this graph demonstrated. So the world champion, the Homestory Cup champion, the WCS champion, I'm sure we'll get 1 to 2 tweets about how, oh, I'm so excited to win again, which is like half of Serral's whole Twitter account. And yep. So actually, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna just say it. I just want to read his Twitter account. Okay, we're just gonna read it. That's how we'll finish this up. We're not just gonna outro there and pretend like, please subscribe. We can fit a whole nother ad in. That we have Mr. Sutala on Twitter. So, oh yeah, by the way, humble brag, Serral following me. You jealous? BlizzCon, check. This is his pinned tweet. He won BlizzCon, second Homestory Cup trophy. Made it to the finals. Oh yeah, I'll give him a retweeting 3-0 against Sue. I won this. Oh, he's actually tweeting pretty regular. Homestory Cup brings this out in people. All right, first day, I won everything. Managed to pull it off again. I won The last tweet before this was winning WCS. Of course, winning in WCS. He played against the AI, which he crushed. 4-0. Games continue next weekend. 4-player match. Now, this is the only tweet that is not tournament... well, not him in a tournament related. This was when Dark 12 pulled in GSL on a 4-player map. Retweets. Promoting his tournament. First one for the year. He won WCS. Revenge tastes good. He's in the semifinals. Won my match. Actually talking about a flight. How crazy is that? 4-2 in the finals and I win WCS. Qualified WCS. And then, of course, a couple months before, I never quite understood the "Am I still in the game?" scans. Every couple months, he just drops a single sentence that shakes StarCraft and etiquette to the core. 2-0 and 2-0. Probably should have lost a game, but I did it. Too many mistakes. Very disappointed. GG's to Rainer. He actually lost 4-3 to Rainer. It actually lost. Oh. What is this? What? This is all he tweeted. There's no context. It's just some... Okay. Euro is going to haunt me. He tweets a bunch, but he loses, so there's not very many tweets. Alright. We got it. Congratulations to Serral. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. There's your taste. Go follow Serral on Twitter for 1 to 5 tweets every single month. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy.